Hey folks. Deep within the scorching, unsettled mines of Death Mountain, there's a dark secret sealed deep within. A tragic state of affairs that forced the hands of the Goron elders to lock away one of their own. Chained in steel shackles, left isolated in a dark, quiet room. But just what is the truth behind the extreme measures and treatment the Gorons placed on their own brother? What is the story behind the tragic life of Fyrus in The Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess? In the great search for new Zelda content right now, I've decided to revisit my favourite game, and this is a story that I've wanted to tell for a little while. I love making lore storytelling type videos where together we explore and expand upon specific parts of Zelda lore, and retell them in a cinematic and story-like way. So be sure to go and grab yourself a delicious snack and drink for the video, folks. Subscribe if you're new around here for lots more Zelda content. Drop a cheeky wee like down below, it'd really make my day. And without further ado, let's dive into the story of the tragic life of Fyrus. To fully grasp the story of Fyrus, we first need to understand exactly where he is. As mentioned in the intro, he was locked away deep within the Goron Mines found inside Death Mountain, which overlooks Kakariko village of the Elden region. Recently, the mountain, which also has a lot of volcanic activity, has been extra feisty. In order to actually access the mines in which he's found, Link must first free the Elden region from the twilight darkness which has taken over. This is done in wolf form by collecting the vessels of light found across the village and parts of Death Mountain. Once the light is returned, the hero is guided by the light spirit Elden to venture up the mountain, but this is no easy task. Link must outstrength the mighty Gorons in order to traverse the mountain. These rock-eating brothers are insanely strong. Despite being the hero of Hyrule himself, he requires the aid of the Iron Boots, which allow him to push the Gorons aside, who have been instructed to not allow any humans into their home. However, Link scales the raging mountain and makes his way to a chamber at the top of the Goron settlement. It's here he begins to learn the troubles of Fyrus. Link is met by a group of Gorons ready to trample him, stopped only by the Elder and the current patriarch of the tribe, Goron, who Link must beat in a battle of strength to be accepted here. With the help of the Iron Boots, this is achievable for the hero, and it's with the respect gained in that victory that he learns of the Goron's troubles. As it turns out, Goron is actually just the stand-in patriarch at the moment. He was once in the position fully, but due to recent circumstances out of their control, the former patriarch Darbus had to be contained. The very same Goron who is now known as Fyrus. Goron explains to Link that when the mountain's rage recently increased, the Elders and Darbus ventured into the Goron Mines to investigate. He explains that the Gorons have a treasure deep within there, entrusted to them by the spirits, with a duty to protect it. This treasure that he's referring to is a piece of the Fused Shadow Relic, a highly powerful artifact of dark magic that was split into pieces to avoid it falling into the wrong hands. The Fused Shadow holds immensely powerful dark magic that was used by the Interlopers many ages ago in an attempt to take over Hyrule and gain full control of the Triforce. Under the order of the goddess, the Light Spirit sealed these pieces away deep within various locations across Hyrule. One within the far reaches of the Forest Temple, another deep below the waves of Lake Hylia within the Lakebed Temple, and this one in the molten mines of Death Mountain. Even just fractions of its power are extreme, and this was discovered firsthand in a moment of chaos during the Goron's investigation. Eager to get to the bottom of their home's recent troubles, Darbus, the brave patriarch, reached out to the treasure, and it consumed him. He collapsed, and right in front of the Goron elders, Darbus was transformed by Shadow into a horrific creature with rage in its heart. He began destroying parts of the mines, leaving trails of ruin behind him and causing the mountain's eruptions to increase in power. Using all the strength the elders had, they managed to contain the monster deep within the mines, preventing further damage and potential harm to their brothers. The Goron patriarch they once knew was no longer there. What remains is a monster of shadow deep within the mines. Following Goron setting out Link's task, the hero enters the Goron Mines to try and reach Darbus and put a stop to the chaos. First, he must locate the other 3 elders within the mines, as they all hold a shard of the key that unlocks the door that Darbus was sealed within, showing us just how extreme a measure they took in ensuring he doesn't get out of there unless it's on their terms. Link navigates the blistering hot mines, hanging upside down above pools of lava with the iron boots, taking out boblins in the outside areas of the mines, and even going head to head with another Goron who serves as the dungeon mini-boss. Dangoro is only trying to protect his tribe's treasure, but as Link bests him, the hero collects his iconic bow, an item that will come in handy for dealing with Fyrus. After finding Goramoto, Gor Abizio, and Gor Liggs, Link pieces together the boss key, his ticket to meeting the troubled Darbus, of course now known as Fyrus. As Link approaches the boss door, it's clear just how dangerous Darbus became as he transformed into Fyrus. He's behind a massive multi-layered door, which can only be accessed by a metal bridge to get across the lava inside this part of the mines. The lock itself, of course, requires all 3 shards to open, and inside, Link goes. As Link enters, we see a large creature of shadow, with a strange and mysterious artifact at its helm, sported with a red gem in the middle. The creature is chained by both the ankles and wrists, restrained in place, resting quietly in the calm before the storm. As Link approaches, the red gem glows bright with an eye shape inside, and in a matter of moments, the hero begins to see just why the elders had to lock this monster away. Fyrus roars with rage, flailing his body around as it turns from shadow to flame. The beast ignites its body alight, and using the almighty strength of the few shadow piece possessing him, he breaks free from his shackles. With the light from the flames, we can already see how powerful Fyrus is as the walls have been destroyed, exposing the rock behind. Link stands face to face with Fyrus, Twilight Igniter. In order to defeat the towering beast, Link must stun Fyrus by blasting that gem with an arrow, followed by pulling on his chains with the iron boots equipped to haul him down, finished by slashing at his head. Repeated 3 times, and Fyrus is defeated. The beast lets out a mighty roar as it rises, holding its head in agony. As the shadow begins to exit Darbus, the size of him shrinks down back to his original form, and it's here we actually meet the patriarch of the Gorons. Though he has no memory of what just happened, only a sore head, but alas, Death Mountain begins to calm, and the Gorons have their leader back at the helm. Unlike every other boss in Twilight Princess, Fyrus was a regular good guy who unfortunately fell to the dark magic of the Twilight, corrupting him and literally stealing his very being away from him. He turned into an unrecognizable beast, wreaking havoc without any control over his actions. The other bosses, Diababa is just a mutated Deku Baba, Morpheal, a mutated sea creature, Stalord, a revived monster, Armagoma, a giant arachnid, Argarog, a literal dragon, and of course Zan, an evil usurper. The only exception there is Blazetta, who is actually Yetta, but she was only possessed and turned mad by the mirror shard at the very end of the dungeon for the boss battle. Darbus was cursed by this evil beforehand and lost himself in the shadows, forcing his brothers to chain him up and lock him deep within the mines, and this all happened because he wanted to investigate why the mountain was in anger. He only wanted to help, but that led to his life becoming a tragic state of affairs. His life reflects on the whole story of this game, the shadow infecting the light, ripping away innocent life, taking the light into the dark. Thanks a ton for watching, folks. I hope you enjoyed this wee lore video and my telling of Fyrus' story. I know it's a short one, but Zelda content's pretty few and far between right now. It truly makes me sad whenever I play through this part of Twilight Princess, and I'm glad I could share those feelings with all of you. If you did enjoy, be sure to subscribe for lots more fabulous Zelda content from myself. as well as drop a cheeky wee like down below, as it would really make my day. What other lore stories would you like to see retold in this way? Perhaps something a little longer, or maybe something this length? Let me know down in the comments. As always, a massive thank you goes to my channel backers across YouTube memberships and Patreon. Their support really helps to make these videos all the more possible, and if you'd be interested in joining them on screen right now, as well as getting yourself other cool rewards, then check out the supporting links in the description for more information. Also down there are links to my social pages and Discord server, where you can keep up to date with me, as well as chat to many other lovely Zelda fans. Thanks again for watching, folks. I hope you have a brilliant rest of your day or night, and until the next time, I've been Hyrule Gamer.